Well, good afternoon, everybody. We have round two of a big, I guess we'll call it the second round of winter storms across the area. Mary Beth and I are in studio. Josh is on his way. So we've got team coverage as we head into the upcoming weekend. We're even on a text thread with our chief, Aaron Mikowski. So we're all ready and prepared for this storm. We've seen it coming. The question marks now lie in where we're going to see that lake effect snow as we go into the upcoming weekend.
Yeah, and we are here to get you prepared for the upcoming weekend so you know what to expect and when to expect it as well. So, the first thing that we're going to talk about is the elevated winter storm watch. It is now a warning and it starts earlier than it was projected. So, if we take you to our graphics right now, this winter storm warning will begin at 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow for most of Western New York. It does not include Allegheny County. But we are expecting 1 to 3 feet of snow in the most persistent snow band between 10 o'clock in the morning Saturday and 7 a.m. Monday. This is a long duration event. It's not going to all happen at once. That's the good news. But the fact is, we're going to have really strong wind gusts starting tonight and throughout the day and evening tomorrow. Winds may be gusting tomorrow up to 65 miles per hour. That will create some blizzard conditions. So if you're on the roads, you have to take it
Are we
extra.
able to hear Mary Beth? Is she kind of coming in and out there? If anybody wants to let me know, I'll take over for just a second. The winter storm warning also includes Niagara and Orleans County is a part of it as well. How is the weather going to be for West Seneca? We'll kind of run through all of that as well. As I was just mentioning off of Mary Beth talking about the winter storm warning, Niagara and Orleans County included in this, but much to a lesser extent as for how much snow will be there. So we'll talk about all of that and when we're all going to see a lot of this come into play. Mary Beth, are we able to hear you again? Let's see if we,
Can you hear
there
me?
we go.
Okay, you can hear me now, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. All righty. Yeah, so is a chance of seeing some blizzard-like conditions throughout the day and evening tomorrow, especially. And we want to show you one model that gives us some projected snowfalls amounts. So this is going into 1 o'clock Sunday. We could see maybe 7 or more inches here in the Buffalo metro area. It does put down higher amounts east and south of Buffalo, maybe 11, 12 inches in places like Depew, Lancaster, Elma. This is by 1 p.m. Sunday. And you can see at Orchard Park, by game time, we could be seeing up to 10 inches of snow, give or take. But this is where the snow band is projected now. And as we go into Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m., it does look like Orchard Park could see 2.5 inches between the start of the game and the end of the game. So you saw about 10 inches at 1 p.m. And then we take you to 4 o'clock toward the end of the game. Now we're up to 12.5. So it does look like snow may be falling during the game. And not to mention the winds are going to be very, very gusty too. So as we take you to 11 o'clock, here are some of the projected total snowfall amounts. This is all between Saturday morning and Sunday night. So maybe 8 inches for Buffalo, lesser amounts for Kenmore and Amherst up into Niagara County, but the highest amounts, the bullseye from Blaisdell over toward Elma, Alden to Batavia, and then down toward Dunkirk. Dunkirk seeing about 13 inches of rain. And of course, on the Chautauqua Ridge, we could be seeing some higher amounts as well. So we're also talking about a high wind warning in effect for all of Western New York. It kicks in at 7 o'clock tonight for areas from the metro area to the north. For the southern tier, it starts at about 4 o'clock this afternoon, so not too far from now. And a wind advisory is in effect till midnight for northern Pennsylvania. But the interesting thing about these wind gusts is they're going to be shifting from the southeast tonight to the southwest tomorrow. And we need, in order for a lake effect to get going, we have to have the fetch of Lake Erie. So we need a southwest or west southwest wind. But we're concerned about the power outage risk that will be with us even tonight. They could be scattered across the area, especially south and east of Buffalo. And going into tomorrow evening, too, we could have some widely scattered power outages. So make sure you have your flashlights ready with the batteries in. If you get a power outage, call your utility company to let them know. And then keep your fridges and your freezers closed. Try not to open them just to preserve the expensive food that you may have purchased and for longevity's sake too. And these power outages will go into Saturday as well. So Autumn, you can talk about the lakeshore flood warning. We have all these watches and warnings to tell you about.
So many things are taking place. So I want to get to a couple of the comments that we've had coming through. One, they're driving to Rochester tomorrow. Any issues? The earlier you travel tomorrow, the better off you're going to be. If you are late afternoon into the evening, that's where I would say, that's probably not the best case scenario, because we're dealing with those very high wind gusts. Lake effect's finally going to start to really get its act together, and likely happening for areas north. It's not a southern tier thing. It's probably going to be a little bit closer to the metro area as we start things up as we head into tomorrow evening and night. Another person was saying blizzard conditions are not a full-blown blizzard. Well, there's going to be caveats to these blizzard-like conditions. Number one, we don't have snow all across the area. Everyone's going to deal with these high winds, but if there's no snow on the ground and there's not snow falling, obviously you're not going to deal with blizzard-like conditions. It's going to be within that lake effect band where there's whiteouts. Travel will be so difficult because you won't be able to see in front of you. Now, whether or not, you have a band that's maybe 10 miles wide, that's where you'll have these blizzard-like conditions. And then it will move, and then you'll still have these gusty winds that will still create poor and low visibility as well. So that's why we're kind of talking about it the way that we're talking about it right now. Areas like Dunkirk, you'll get the winds this evening first. Those southeast winds, yet again, that thruway corridor between Ripley and Buffalo, with those southeast winds this evening, and then Buffalo to Batavia and northward deals with that tomorrow. So that's a couple of the comments that I have just seen. Michigan, wondering the weather in Dunkirk.
Here, I do want to chime in here about strong wind gusts. When you get really strong wind gusts up to 50, 60 miles an hour, it's very difficult for an organized lake effect snow band to form, to organize, because you get jagged, you get ripping of the winds. The winds are going in different directions. So probably tomorrow afternoon and evening, the snow showers will be widely scattered all across Western New York. So you can get maybe a snow plume. And then when you get a snow plume and you get those gusty winds, that's going to be a brief period or a small period of poor visibility for you, but you might be in and out of it. That will probably be the situation, at least into the early afternoon. We're not looking for a lot of snow accumulations by the end of the day tomorrow. In fact, by like 6 o'clock in the evening, we may only see like an inch or two of accumulation across Western New York. But again, the snow could be blinding at times when it happens in the afternoon. It's the later night that we're going to see that lake effect snow band forming. But once it does, the snow is going to really come down. Yeah.
And we just got a comment from Orangeville, has 2 inches of wet snow. There's a winter weather advisory into northern Pennsylvania right now, and that's where a few inches of snow can even accumulate, and even into Allegheny County. So into this evening, as precipitation comes in, northern Pennsylvania, southern tier may even have some sticky wet snow that is with us before it kind of switches over to rain as we head throughout the night tonight. So first, the winds from the southeast happen. Then we have the southwest winds. And as we were just talking about getting into the lakeshore flood warning, this is called, what will end up happening is a lake seiche. So you have the wind blowing from the western end of Lake Erie, and it's pushing all the water to the eastern end. We like to say, or even as an example, I like to say, you have a little kid, or maybe at some point in your life and you were sitting in the bathtub and you would go back and forth, and the water would slush just like that. This is what's going to happen into our afternoon tomorrow, with the winds just constantly pushing towards the eastern end of the lake. So you're going to get a rise on the Lake Erie shoreline for Buffalo, and the Lake Erie shoreline in Toledo or Cleveland is going to go down. And that's also going to create those very high waves in Lake Erie. So the center portion of the lake, you could have 20-foot waves. I mean, that's just absolutely crazy. We won't be experiencing on the lake.
Right. And not just the waves, Autumn, it's the rising of the water. It's almost like in a hurricane. It's like the storm surge, if you will. So
Right.
basically, the water will rise by about maybe more than 7.5, 8 feet. So on top of that, that's when you get those 13 to 23-foot waves. So I really implore people living on the lake shoreline, and you know who you are, get your sandbags out, get weather preparedness for this event, because we do have a warning. It's a warning. It's not a watch now. So it's very imminent, and it's going to be happening throughout the day tomorrow, especially in the morning on into the afternoon and evening as well. We could see flooding even at Canal Side in the Buffalo Harbor. Also down Route 5 and toward Hamburg, we could see a lot of flooding there. And then down toward the Dunkirk Harbor as well. So that's the biggest risk area. And it even extends up into Niagara Falls. I'm almost thinking of like along
Around
the
Grand Island. Yeah.
Grand Island. Yeah, you're not out of the woods either. So if you're in these areas shaded in teal, take precautions if you live on the coast, for sure. Yeah.
And this is all before we get into the lake effect snow that comes in
Yeah, right.
for the afternoon. So it's one thing after another.
Yeah. And someone is also asking about power outages. Jeff in North Tonawanda. Yeah, there's a risk extending from this evening tonight into tomorrow night. So, yeah, I would just make sure you have your flashlights. Don't close your fridge, or don't open your fridge and freezer as well. And and call your utility company if your power goes out, because the faster you do that, the faster it'll go back on. Right? We hope. Yeah. So let's
That's
check
right.
out the wind gust tracker. All right, here it is. And so this is 5 o'clock. This is where the
Hmm.
top wind gusts are, especially south of Buffalo around Dunkirk. Again, we got that southeast wind flow, 51 for Jamestown, already 50 at Bradford. And then these winds are really going to start to ramp up. Here's 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Already the winds shifting to the southwest. You can see those wind arrows. So now the winds are picking up to about 40 miles per hour. As we go into the afternoon, here's our top wind gusts. Could be 50, even 60 miles per hour. Some models are taking us into the mid 60s. This includes Dunkirk again, Buffalo up toward Middleport into Batavia. So again, power outages are a possibility going into Saturday night. On Sunday, the winds are going to slowly settle down, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be a windy day on Sunday. I know a lot of you folks are going to be driving to the game. I say give yourself 2-3 hours to get there, to take it really, really slow. But here's 4 a.m. Here is 1 p.m. This is game time. Check this out. Winds gusting to 38, 40, maybe 45 miles an hour from Buffalo southward. So yeah, maybe the Bills are going to have to do a running game or a short game with snow and wind like this. Yeah, for sure. And Sunday night, as we go into the end of the game, still the winds are just as high, 38 to 45 mile an hour wind gusts. All right, let's take you to our hour by hour forecast, because things are going to start changing in a hurry over the next several hours for Western New York. This is 6 p.m. tonight. We're just maybe 2.5 hours away, and already we're seeing the development or the evolution of the storm system. We'll see a wintry mix across the southern. Mostly rain, though. Most of us seeing temperatures above freezing right now, so it should be, either like a wet slushy snow or just plain rain. And we should be warming up even further toward midnight, maybe close to 40 or into the low 40s temperature wise after midnight. So it's plain rain. We may get some breaks as well too. It's not a steady rain. And then tomorrow morning already that rain is switching back to snow. It could be a little bit of a slushy snow to start out. Here's 9 o'clock. Notice nothing is widespread, but again, very, very high winds. So if you are in one of those little snow cells there, you're going to have poor visibility and going into the afternoon. So we do have breaks tomorrow, nothing organized until after midnight. After midnight, that's when that lake effect snow band seems to set up, or around midnight. This model has it setting up just south of Buffalo. So the south towns, Orchard Park, over toward maybe Batavia and to Warsaw as well. And then it could be pushing toward the Buffalo metro area over toward a Batavia line, including parts of Orleans County. But it looks like the meat and potatoes of this, or the heart of it, could be just south of Buffalo. And it could be pushing south during the game, too. It could. This band has the snow moving out of the stadium during the game. Here's 4 o'clock, and you can see it's well south of the stadium. And then once we go into Martin Luther King Day, it comes back into the metro area. It looks like we may have some accumulating snows here in the metro area for the start of the holiday on Monday. So we'll show you the European model. So this shows something of a different story, but not too different. Do you want to take this one, Autumn?
Yeah, so it's always very difficult. A lot of people kind of question, where will this lake effect snow band be, and how do we not know about where it's going to end up, several days out? It's just something that as you get closer and the winds get more defined, this is when we know more on it. And a shift of 5 or 10 degrees and where the winds are coming from can shift a lake effect band by 5 to 10 to 15 miles south or north. And of course, that will take it right out of one city or town from another. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the European model. I want to there was one comment in there talking about going from Main Street, Williamsville to Transit Road in East Amherst at 6 a.m. Sunday morning. I would say from the looks of the models that we have now, that early portion of the early morning is where we'll still be dealing with snow in that area. And then late.
Yeah, I would say take it slow, take it easy, and have your shovel and your snow brush with you, because you'll definitely need it. But I would take things
Yeah, but I would say if you wait a little bit later in the morning, you're better off with the band not being really even impactful at that point. But anyway, okay, so with the European model, you can screen there, or now it's kind of moving up to the top. We're up here now. By early Sunday morning, it's near Buffalo towards Batavia. Now, as it goes through time and where it will end up, am I going to move that? Okay, there we go. And then it's kind of moving south as we head towards 1 o'clock. And you know what? It continues to sag south from there and towards the evening. So as the game progresses, that band kind of comes through and settles into southern portions of Erie County, almost 28 southward, and then goes back up towards the city into Monday. What we know is that this band is going to be meandering. It's not going to stay put in one spot throughout the duration of this event. So it's not going to be a clear cutoff as to where the snow ends or begins. Long will it be over the stadium? That's going to be kind of debatable and up in the air until we really get that plume going.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, and I think it's just you're going to have to plan on giving yourself way extra time getting to and from the game too. So let's go through the forecast for today because, again, we have some quick changes coming our way by 6 o'clock already. Some of us could be dealing with some rain, and the winds start to ramp up tonight. So you'll see winds gusting close to maybe a sustained wind out of the southeast at 26 miles an hour at midnight. So that rain and the wintry mix will develop and continue overnight. Tomorrow, the rain changes back over to snow showers. It's going to be scattered snow showers. It probably shouldn't organize just yet until later tomorrow night. But any snow shower cells that you run into could be blinding with those high gusty winds up to 50, 60 miles an hour. By the end of the day, we're expecting maybe 1 to 2 inches of snow. So the Bills forecast, they're allowing heated vests and heated clothes for the game. So it's not a bad idea. Maybe take some hand warmers and feet warmers for you that you could get at the local hardware store, right? You need those. So it's windy and cold with snow showers and winds sustained out of the west, 15 to 30 miles an hour. Lake effect scheduled to be close to the stadium or at the stadium during the game. And the wind chills will be running close to 0. So if you like winter weather, hey, this is great for skiers because all the ski resorts are going to be loving this weather with temperatures below freezing. And even the nights are quite cold too. So it's going to help Lake Erie cool down too. Lake Erie still at a balmy 40 degrees, which is prime for developing lake effect, Autumn.
Right. And we've got a lot of people asking how much snow will be in any one spot. North Tonawanda, are we going to get a ton of snow and whiteouts? Come Saturday evening and overnight, that's a good spot to have some of this snow into the overnight and early on Sunday. As of now, how it looks. And if we're at least an inch an hour out of that snow plume, if we get the winds to kind of move all in the right direction, that's over a half a foot if it's sitting there for 6 hours or so. And that will be the same for Buffalo towards the stadium early on Sunday, depending on how long it stays over any one spot. And then again, the snowfall rate, if it increases, if we get it to go to 2 inches an hour, that's a huge maker at that point. So one that we're going to keep a very close eye on as we head into the next 24 hours.
Yeah, Tracy has a question. He asks if North Tonawanda is going to get a ton of snow and whiteouts, which day is worse? I would say the best chance of getting any snow would be from tomorrow afternoon into early Sunday. And then we do expect that band to shift a little farther south. But then it's going to come right back at us Sunday night into Monday morning. Yeah. So
I'm trying to see if there's anything else that we can answer.
yeah.
Will this band, let's see, stay safe and warm. Yeah, everyone's got to do that.
Folks, you have enough windshield wiper fluid in your car. Probably not a bad idea to keep a blanket in your car. Keep your phone charged as well too. We don't have any flight cancellations. Somebody is asking. I did not see any flight cancellations yet, but I imagine there may be tomorrow because a lot of planes don't like to stay at airports and sit on the ground when there is a wind gust up to 60, 65 miles an hour. A lot of the airlines will pull their planes out and take them elsewhere where it's safer for them. But right now we don't have any cancellations, but again, that could change.
Yeah, someone in the comments had mentioned that a flight from Orlando was already canceled for tomorrow, not today, but for tomorrow. So they could be kind of moving in that direction. I mean, there could be ones that are landing in the morning. We're not dealing with a lake band at that time, but it's the winds are just so gusty going into tomorrow. And like Tuesday, there were cancellations then, and this is just like that.
Yeah.
So,
are you there, Autumn? Sorry, I think our phones are. Yeah. So Yeah, we have a viewer that's saying everyone stay safe out there. And yeah, and exercise caution too while driving or walking and you need to go to the grocery store, go early. So,
Yeah, cut your lawn one more time while the weather is nice. In
right.
fact, I mean, it was a beautiful day today. There
Oh, nice.
is truth
The
to
sun.
the calm before the storm.
Uh-huh.
I can attest to that.
Yes, a little little vitamin D before the storm comes, right? Yeah. All right.
Exactly.
All right, everyone. We'll see you tonight at 5, 6, 7, and 11 on Channel 7. Have a great day. We'll keep you updated on everything that happens. Take care.
For sure. Stay safe.